Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Miguel back again with another video, and today we have the Xiaomi 12 Lite that I'm going to be reviewing in this video. But before we get started, I want to kind of discuss where this phone actually falls under, and I want to discuss that even though this actually has the name 12 Lite, that's just a name to distinguish between this phone and the others that fall in the 12 series. So there are about, I think, 3 or 4 phones that fall into the 12 series. This is the beginner or the beginner to the series of the 12. And then we have the regular 12, the 12 Pro, and then we have the 12 Pro S version, I believe. And as I said, although this does have the Lite name, that's only to distinguish because there's one big difference that this has from the others. And this actually, in my opinion, is a flagship contender. Although this is not a flagship, it is a mid-range phone, but the features and about 95% of the specs on this phone are flagship contender specs. Now, looking at the device, we have 8 gigs of RAM and we also have 128 gigs of internal storage. This does come with a 6 RAM version as well, and this is also available in 256. But today, the version that we have is 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. And we also have the light green version, which is the color of this phone. Now, unboxing the phone real quick, we have in front of us a booklet, and let's see what we have inside. Okay, we have our SIM ejector pin here up front, and as usual we do have a silicone case, which I'm really glad to see that they almost all Xiaomi phones do include a silicone case, so that's good to see here. We also have our warranty information and our quick guide, generic paperwork. That's pretty much it. Now we have the phone itself here, which we are gonna look in a little bit, and yeah, that's a really nice color. All right, what else do we have? And okay, we have a USB-C. Yes, we have a USB-C. I'm so sorry about that. We have a USB-C to a regular USB cable over here, and it has that orange color in here, which signifies that this does support fast charging. And finally, the star of the show, because you know these are rare nowadays, we have a 67-watt fast charger that comes in the box. And again, this is a very underrated feature in my opinion, because a lot of devices nowadays are not supporting 67-watt chargers or just fast or chargers to begin with. So it's good to see that Xiaomi is introducing a charger inside the box. Right. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Okay, now we have this really pretty color. Wow, that looks really good. I don't know if you guys can see this in the camera and different lightings, but it actually it changes color, and it does have like a frosted glass on the back. So it I don't know. I'm struggling to find. I don't know if I'm struggling to see if this is actually glass or not. It looks or feels like glass as well to the touch. Yeah, I believe this is glass. And if it isn't glass, then they did a really good job in mimicking glass or a frosted glass back. The good thing about it though is it's not really prone to a lot of fingerprints. So yeah, that's a good thing, but I really like the glass back and the design as well. Overall, it's a flat edge design, which is better to hold in the hands, and it kind of reminds me of an iPhone when I hold it. It does have that flat edge design. We have the volume rockers here on the side alongside the power button. On the bottom we have a stereo speaker, we have a USB-C port here, and we also have the SIM tray, which supports 2 SIMs. And unfortunately, Xiaomi has stopped supporting a micro SD card. So as I mentioned, you have the option to buy this in 128 or 256 gig version, and that's pretty much it. We also have a speaker here on the front and an IR blaster on top as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this phone real quick. All right, while we're quickly setting up the phone, I forgot to mention that this front is also made up of glass, and this is actually Gorilla Glass 5, and the sides are also made up of aluminum. So we do have an aluminum frame with a glass front and most likely a glass back as well. All right, so talking about the screen, this is a 6.65-inch AMOLED display. It is a flat edge, so there's no curves or it's not rounded on the edges. But it is full HD, and it also has 120 hertz of fast refresh rate, which is an upgrade from last year's 11 Lite, which had only 90 hertz. So it's good to see that even at this price point now, a lot of phones are starting to introduce 120 hertz, and this one as well ticks that box as well. 120 hertz is always good to see, and it is actually adaptive. So if you're not using it or if you don't need it, you can always bring it down to 60, and depending on what you're browsing, it's going to go up to 120 whenever you need it. Now, when we talk about the battery, this has a 4,300 milliampere battery, and I'm not going to say that that's not bad at all, but I would have loved to see minimum 4,500 or 5,000, because a lot of companies nowadays are introducing 5,000 milliampere batteries as a default. So again, not bad at all. This is going to last you all day, and especially with the 67-watt charger here, this should be able to charge your phone from 0 to 50% in about 15 minutes, and 0 to 100% in just under 40 minutes, a little bit over 30 minutes. Again, not bad at all. So if you're on the go, you can always charge your phone. 15 minutes should be able to give you half of the battery life, and this should really last you all day long. Now, when it comes to the cameras, which is another big feature of this phone, we have a triple camera at the back. But before that, let's just speak about the front camera here. The front camera is not bad at all. Again, it's just okay. It's passable. It has a 32 megapixel front camera, which is in the design of a punch hole. And on the back, we have a triple camera array. We have a main 108 megapixel camera. Then we have an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and we also have a 2 megapixel macro, which honestly, they should just stop bringing these macro lenses because they're no use at all. But the main camera here is a 108 megapixel camera, which is a really capable camera in my opinion. I saw a bunch of reviews, and I also did a couple of tests. I'm really sorry I'm not going to be able to put samples right now. It's raining outside, so I don't have the option to do that. But I saw some samples of the picture quality of the Xiaomi 12 Lite, and they have really good camera quality. And I saw even comparisons of this being compared with the 12, the regular 12, which has a better camera, but in my opinion, the 12 Lite actually had the better camera. The colors are really accurate, are really good. The only thing that I did see was that the 12 had maybe a little bit more vibrance in the photos, but overall the picture quality, the pixels, everything was really good. And the only place where the back camera, the 108 megapixel camera, was struggling was in nighttime photography. It does not have optical image stabilization, and at nighttime it was really struggling with the light. So that's one of the downsides, but this is more than good for social media use or even vlogging. And this will actually record in 4K up to 30 FPS. That's the maximum resolution that it will record. And while speaking about resolution, the front camera, I did mention we do have a 32 megapixel punch hole display camera on the front, but it does not record in 4K. So if you're looking for a 4K front camera, you're not going to find it in this. But I honestly wouldn't be really complaining with the price point. 1,400 dirhams, and you get a 108 megapixel camera, which is more than good enough, and a 32 megapixel front camera is really good in my opinion. Now, the main part that I want to discuss about this phone is going to be the performance aspect of the phone. The Xiaomi 12 Lite actually has a Snapdragon 778G chip, which is a very capable chip in my opinion, but that's where you actually get the Lite name on the phone. So the rest of the 12 lineup, the regular 12 and the 12 Pro, both have Snapdragon's 8 Gen 1 chip, which is the flagship chip right now, the latest and the greatest that Snapdragon has to offer. But this one has the 778G chip, and that's where this phone actually kind of, I wouldn't say lacks, but that's the biggest difference when it comes to this phone and the 12 and then the 12 Pro. So apart from that, this phone ticks almost all the boxes of any flagship device. And we did do an Antutu benchmark test, and this phone scored around 500,000 points, 550,000 points. And we did compare it to the regular 12, which had the 8 Gen 1 chip processor, which scored around 900,000 points. So although there is about 40% of the difference, and it is 40% faster, but there's one big thing that not a lot of people are actually looking at. There have been reports from a lot of places that the regular 12 was throttling and was heating up to the extent where people had to put the phone down because it was heating so much. So although it is faster, but you're not going to be able to use it for longer. This phone will actually last you longer, especially when you're playing games. The 778G chip, Snapdragon's chip, is actually the best pairing that you could have with the Xiaomi 12 Lite. So considering that, again, one more thing to consider is the price. As I mentioned throughout the video, 1400 dirhams is not a bad price at all. And if you're getting a Snapdragon 778G chip, which does almost pretty much everything, I wouldn't be complaining. I have no complaints about this phone at all. This is a really, really good starting point if you are looking, or if you are in the market for a mid-range or a higher mid-range phone. I highly recommend the Xiaomi 12 Lite. So yeah, guys, anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you would consider buying this phone if you're in the market. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. I forgot to mention, this also has a fingerprint sensor, by the way, if you are looking to get it. So yeah. Anyways, peace out. Bye-bye.